What is going on, peeps? It is the Urban Franchise, Tony Montana. And guys, I'm here to hit you guys up with a review. A series came up on Netflix today. A docuseries called Mr. McMahon. On former chairman and CEO of WWE, Vince McMahon. I just legitimately finished binging the whole series. I was probably should have only watched half because I wanted to wake up early tomorrow. But here I am, late in the night, just finished watching it. I'm gonna give you guys my opinion on the series, being that I have been a fan of WWE since it was WWF. The very formidable years where Hulkamania ran wild was essentially when I was brought into this world. And I've been following the whole fun adventure of the WWE, WWF, my entire life. I am not ashamed to admit that I am a lifelong professional wrestling fan. It has been one of my favorite types of medias, and essentially, one thing I will quote from it, and it's part of one of the things that always made it stood out for me personally, as a person of color in North America, especially, is one point The Rock said when he was being told that he would become the first African American WWE champion in history. McMahon pointed out that has nothing to do with it. And The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, said, McMahon did not see color. You put in the work, you put in the effort, you'll get an opportunity. And I remember watching wrestling as a kid, and it was one of the few programmings where I saw people who looked like me as like main characters. Or I saw a lot of other people, it's like of other cultures, you get to see as like stars and superstars. Wrestling's been so fast, it's been in other countries, whereas like especially in the 90s where I grew up, in the late 80s of course, when I was a little one, there wasn't always that representation. But in professional wrestling, in the WWE/WWF, there was always characters, stars, larger than life personas that anyone and everyone watching the show, didn't matter what race, religion, or whatever they were, they could see someone and identify that looked like them. And I've always loved that. And like the one thing taken out of it, there's a lot of things you could say about McMahon, but that was one thing that I always fought just because of what the product he's always put out there. That he didn't see color. That was one thing I'd like to take from it. Obviously, being a lifelong fan, when the allegations and everything that he did came out, I felt betrayed. I was one of those people who would sing along to his theme song, No Chance in Hell. I've done the McMahon strut. And it was just like he felt betrayed. But then this documentary opens your eyes up to a lot of things. Like me being a creative, being an influencer, a lot of aspects about McMahon, his creative things. And it makes sense being a lifelong fan. I think the same way. Certain things he was saying, how he doesn't have multiple brains, he has like a bunch of computers going on. That's the same thing with me. I always have like a bunch of thoughts going on at the same time, ideas running from my mind, trying to build things and whatnot. His creative process where he tries to base everything on like what's going on, what's popular. I watching it, I found like the first few episodes, obviously before they get to the horrible things he done, there's just like so many similarities. And it's just like one of the things going into it, I was just like, my entire life, McMahon, the majority of my life, Vince McMahon has been on my television. Either he was doing commentary or he was Mr. McMahon, the biggest villain. And sometimes he got behind Vince. In my mind, watching this documentary was the last time I get to enjoy Mr. McMahon. The character. A big fan of the character. Very inspired by the character. The person, for all the things being said, it's just like, there's multiple ways to look at it. Now, a lot of people are quiet. Now, it's revealed that this girl did not get all her money, who made the allegations. Would she have said anything if she had gotten all the money? We don't know. These type of scenarios, and there's some things that Dave Meltzer said during this that's kind of put in, but I'm not going to quote them, that kind of makes you kind of look at it a different way. People in power, people in control, they have a certain barren. I've never been there. I've been a regular guy who's worked my entire life. It's only now where I'm getting the opportunity to come out in front of you guys and, you know, give you my creative side, sell you my brand of entertainment. Like McMahon, it's a very inspiring story until it gets to the last episode, and really watch it throughout it, because you see that caption. All these interviews were taken before those allegations were revealed. Would of all those people who spoke in that documentary said the same things after this was revealed? You gotta ask. One thing I really liked about it is Tony Atlas being there. That was actually really cool. And then I remember a key point at the end where they're like, what do you think Mr. McMahon's legacy would be? And no one can answer it except for Tony Atlas. Tony Atlas says McMahon will be known as the greatest promoter of all time, which I 100% agree with. Only because the world hasn't seen what I can do yet. But, just joking, but, or I might not. But he also said, although he doesn't agree with some of the things that he does and what he says, it's like Tony Atlas, some of the things he said, he was kind of like a wild card, where he usually is. But he was the one who, I guess, didn't have as much to lose, and he just came out there to be real. And it makes you think, like, yeah, he was one of the greatest promoters. If you see that story of everything he went through, taking over, buying out the company from his dad, then going and doing the first WrestleMania, you see the rock and wrestling thing. It's very inspirational for any person who wants to create greatness. But then at the end, it's just that stain on it. And it's unfortunate, especially the professional wrestling fans. I feel for all of you right now, because I know all of us have looked up to him. There might have been points where we all hated him. I know, being a Canadian, after the screw job, I definitely did at one point. But, you know, all of us as fans were influenced by him. And it's unfortunate that you look up to someone so much of your life and then find out that they did things like that. And I'm looking forward to when this is all settled. There's currently a federal investigation about him, and I want to see what's going to come out. I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. Me being right now where I am in the entertainment world, I've kind of seen, I've encountered, and I'm not going to say anything negative. I'm not referring to Janelle Grant, the person who's made allegations, or anyone else who's made allegations, but I've encountered a lot of women who will do anything, put up with anything. If it's someone with enough money, they'll do anything for them that they ask. Personally, myself, I don't like to be around people like that. If you're going to be all the extras because someone has money, it's not about their personality, not about how they treat you. I've always tried to hide my affiliation with any women like that when I identify them being that type. And I know, and I've heard stories of what they've done and been willing to do. And it's like you gotta look at it from certain senses. He was the boss, so this is completely different. It's not like some girl who just randomly met a rich guy and started doing whatever. It's someone who hired her, so that is a whole other factor. I've not talked about this publicly to this extent. I feel there's enough information now that I can out there. Just give an opinion on the circumstances and, all the things. I'm not going to fully state my opinion. I don't want to be anyone quoting me and saying blah, blah, blah. This is what Tony No, I'm not going to tell you guys what I think. I'm just going to analyze the scenario and just speak some facts of what I've seen and encountered in the industry. For anyone who is in a position of power or has big finances, it is normal to encounter that. And then the factor for me as a regular person, I get really turned off by that. It doesn't matter how attractive or great the girl is. if she's kind of showing me that she will do anything for me just because of what I have on a financial or career level, I lose interest personally, and I move away from people like that. But that's because I haven't had huge success in my life. The majority of my life, you could kind of say I've been quite unsuccessful. It's not until I've started doing this social media stuff where success and opportunities have really started to present themselves to me. Maybe it was just I was meant for this world, and it was just a matter of this world coming into existence, because this was not around when I was younger. But with women personally, it's off of who I am, my personality, how I look, how I carry myself, and how I live my life. And I'm assuming, I don't know a lot of rich people. And any that I have, we've not talked about this. Anytime I'm around a rich person, I'm asking them how they got rich, and how I'm asking them for advice on how to get myself rich. I don't really talk about these type of things with rich people when I meet them. But I'm guessing when they have that whole thing where they have that power and that control, it becomes a whole matter of ego or whatnot. So it's just like, is this a matter where he was just on a power trip, or is just one of those girls who were just whatever for the money? Then again, there's always the stories of women who get destroyed by people like this, and they just use them, blah, 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 and they at first just think it's normal. Some dude, their boss or whatever, is treating them. It's a very, very hard thing to like give an opinion on. I don't want to give an opinion. I honestly don't even want to think about it. Honestly, for a long time I didn't have an opinion because it was something very hard for me to process as a fan, and also being a feminist. Very much I show women respect. I've been one of those type of people who always prioritize treating women as equals, treating them right. I know before my time, there was a whole generation where that was not a thing. So my entire life, I've tried to contribute to the world being a better place and just being a better person in that sense. So the things that have been alleged, I cannot imagine what or why someone would do these things. I'm disgusted by some of the things. I could not even read all those texts that were put out. But it's just like, I know for myself, the inspiration as a creative standpoint, a lot of things I do, you guys know a lot of my content is inspired by things that McMahon created and produced in all the years of running the WWE/WWF. So it's like a very thing, like I could ask my former co-host when this came out. I told her I gotta stay away from wrestling. I went in a different direction. I started asking her what ideas you have, because everything that I was doing is wrestling inspired, right? So I kind of wanted to go in a different direction and do different things a different way. Recently, obviously, I've come back to my own things, because obviously it was inspired by that, but it was obviously been my own flavor. Like, you've never seen a Tony Montana or a Dr. Clone going at it in any wrestling matches. This has been our own multiverse of madness that we have. But it was just like, overall, the biggest conclusion I want to come out about this documentary, this docuseries, is how heartbreaking it is. It really, really is heartbreaking. A lot of things mentioned it were very eye-opening. A lot of this stuff in this I knew about, but there was just like little holes that were filled by the revelations within this. And just to me, it was just like watching everything that he went, finding out his story, what he went through when he was younger, growing up, and going from absolute poverty, being abused physically and sexually, and then just like taking control of his life, not being one of those people who it's hard. And then just like for his legacy to end like that. TKO, if you think about it, this didn't come out, McMahon would have been on the head of the board. Fortunately, the WWE has thrived. They have absolutely thrived. This Triple H era has been definitely one of the most entertaining eras in professional wrestling. I've become a fan again, where I'm not the fan I used to be, But I watch WWE every week now. I can't really say that about any other federation, but I do watch it every week now. His story is amazing. It's just a very unfortunate ending because of the decisions he made. There's things that if you watch that he says at certain points in episodes, he implicates himself. And I don't know if it's just like they did that with the editing and on purpose. Amazing watch. I would give it a 5 out of 5. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, this will kind of like open your eyes up to a lot of things about the industry that you never thought of, and probably give people who aren't fans of wrestling a sense of appreciation and understanding of the product they wouldn't have had before. Because essentially it's just like any other business. But this was definitely a good watch. If you're a fan, you need to watch it. I'm pretty sure most fans already did and binged it today like myself. And if you're not, check it out. Absolutely check it out. I end with saying that I absolutely agree with Tony Atlas's statement in it that McMahon will go down as one of the greatest promoters in all of history. I just don't agree with any of the things he's allegedly done. I think they're wrong. I don't like them. But I can, myself, no one else could take away him being one of the greatest promoters in all of history, because he earned that. That is what he is. No one could take that away from him, because what he did with what he started as just being on a commentator for his dad's federation is a very inspiring story. I really wish that ending wasn't what it was. This review would have been completely different. But that is my 2 cents on it. Guys, sound off in the comments if you agree with me or not. What did you guys think of the series? Are you guys going to watch it, or is it just one of those things you're just like so hurt and still feels betrayed or disgusted with Vince McMahon because of these allegations? Guys, thank you so much for joining me for this review. Stay good, stay hood, and keep it blitz.